Notice was properly given of this regular meeting of the City of San Angelo Development Corporation to be held today, November 12th, 2025 at 8:30. Thank you. I'll tip you later. At 8:30 a.m. at the East Mezzanine of City Hall, 72 West College Avenue, San Angelo, Texas, for the purpose of considering the posted agenda items. This meeting is called to order at 8:30 a.m. We'll invoke the Holy Spirit. We'll invite Janet Larson, who is pastor of St. Luke United Methodist Church, to come and give our invocation this morning.
Good morning. I want to thank Rick for inviting me here to pray with you all this morning and bring you greetings from St. Luke United Methodist Church, and give you gratitude for all of the hard work that y'all do and everyone here in the community. Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for this beautiful day and for all of the people gathered here and for the opportunity to shape a future that is vibrant and just and thriving. Bless these conversations with insight and clarity. Help us all listen well, to speak truthfully and kindly to one another, and to work collaboratively. Grant us courage to dream boldly and the humility to serve wisely. And Lord, this morning especially, as grants are given and not given, we pray for each organization that they will continue the good work they are doing and that they will all thrive and that you will prepare the way for each one. May all that we plan and build together bring lasting good to every corner of this community that we all love so much. Amen.
Thank you. All right, so we have a special agenda item. First off the bat, announcement of the 2025 San Angelo Business Plan Competition winners. Nora Navarez, will you come and present, please? Desiree Johnson will join her.
Well, good morning. I'm glad to see everyone is here and ready to hear the announcement. I'm sure all of you are anxious. On behalf of the City of San Angelo Development Corporation, I want to thank everyone for joining us. The San Angelo Business Plan Competition is a cornerstone of our commitment to our supporting our local entrepreneurs and fostering economic growth. Our partnership with the ASU Small Business Development Center and the Norris Vincent College of Business ensures that aspiring business owners have the resources and guidance they need to succeed. Thank you to Costa DC Board and President Rick Manitooth for the continued support and for providing the award funds annually since 2016. We would also like to thank Media Advantage and our many in-kind sponsors for their support. In addition to the grant funds, we have many local businesses that contribute in-kind services to winners. We truly appreciate everyone's support in helping us shape into one of the largest competitions across the state. I would like to hand it over to our competition partner, Ms. Desiree Johnson with Angelo State University.
Thank you so much, Nora. As she said, I'm Desiree Johnson, and I'm the director of the ASU Small Business Development Center. So I'm here representing both the Norris Vincent College of Business, as we're a division of the College of Business, and the partnership between all three of us to bring the business plan competition together. I want to thank everyone who supports this process, and so I have some thank yous to be handing out. So please bear with me as we give the award and recognition to each folk that helps us prepare and work these businesses across their journey. First, I'd like to thank the Costa DC Board, who makes this opportunity possible every year with a chance to win these grant funds and expand local businesses. As Nora mentioned, this year the prize funds are a total of $100,000 in grants. Applications launched in early summer this year. We received just under 40 entries. Finalists were selected in late August and then began working intensively on their business plans and financials, demonstrating their potential for economic growth. I want to recognize the SBDC advisors who worked alongside the business owners throughout the competition. Not only do these advisors support our small business clients, but they also work to provide an educational, hands-on experience for our internship program. So team, if you could please each come up as I call your name, and we'll stay and take a group photo. Miss Elizabeth Dantzler. Mr. David Erickson. Miss Caitlin Polk. And Miss Myra Davila. As you can imagine, these advisors spend countless hours working with our business plan competition clients to help them bring their dreams to fruition. I also would like to recognize a very special student, Miss Mary Vu. She is a graduate student with our office. Come on up. Mary plays a very significant role as our go-to person in the competition. She serves in a different capacity than our business plan competition interns. Mary's been with us just under a year, and she supports all the events at the SBDC, but specifically, she has dedicated time and effort to the tedious details of ensuring Nora and I were on the right track and making sure the competition ran smoothly. So thank you, Mary, for all of your hard work. We would also like to recognize the Norris Vincent College of Business and their partnership in the San Angelo Business Plan competition. As part of the mission of Angelo State University to produce highly competitive graduates, the Business Plan competition serves as an opportunity for a strong experiential learning environment where the student advisors serve the small business community under the tutelage of our certified business advisors. They attend the meetings and engage with the competition clients. They support their dreams with research and leverage their individual skill sets and knowledge from the classroom to support the development of these top-notch business plans. I would like to introduce Mr. Lucas Sampson, who is a member of the internship program. He's going to share a little bit about the internship experience on behalf of the advising team.
Hello, good morning. Thank you all for having me. I am Lucas Sampson, and I'm currently a grad student at Angelo State University and will graduate with my master's in business administration this December. Having previously been on the Angelo State football team for 4 years, I was lucky enough to experience incredible amounts of support and appreciation from various members of this community. I'm grateful to have had this internship, as I believe it has given me the opportunity to give some of that support back. Throughout this internship, I was surrounded by talented peers, exceptional advisors, and ambitious clients, all of whom I would now call friends. During this time, I handled various tasks, including market research, financial analysis, financial projections, assessing the final business plan, and more. Although I enjoyed all of this work, my favorite part had to be bringing it all together to support our clients in their aspirations of building better businesses. I would like to thank the certified small business advisor that I worked alongside, Elizabeth Dantzler, for helping me fine-tune and expand my skill set to not only help our clients reach their goals, but also help me better prepare for my future so I can reach mine. This internship gave me the chance to shake hands with prominent figures of San Angelo, use my ASU education to help others around me, and to build relationships with people I would have never met before this. To conclude, I do want to wish good luck to every business involved today, but I will always have my two favorites. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We hope you have all had an amazing experience as student advisors in the competition. And to acknowledge your efforts, we would like to present certificates to each of you for your role in the competition. Andrea Rodriguez, would you join us and stay for a photo? Aisha Badmus. Cody Dunlap. Kai Shaniwa. And Lucas Sampson. Now I will turn it back over. Oh, I have a little bit more thanking to do. I'm so sorry. We would also like to thank our independent judging panel of entrepreneurs, industry, and financial experts for their dedication to selecting the winners who are committed to economic growth. Each business plan is meticulously reviewed and evaluated with great care, as the panel invests significant time and effort to ensure every proposal receives detailed attention. Their commitment to a comprehensive assessment process underscores the integrity and high standards of the award. Nora, I would also like to take a special moment to recognize your outstanding commitment and the energy you bring to making this competition a true success. You consistently go above and beyond, coordinating the details, supporting the SBDC team, and ensuring that every aspect of the competition is truly excellent. For your unwavering dedication, positivity, and exceptional leadership, it is our honor to name you this year's Shining Star of the Business Plan Competition. Oh, yes.
Okay.
We got her good. To be honest, your passion and tireless efforts truly set you apart, and we are grateful to have your support for this event. So thank you for being the heart and the spark that inspires us all. We want to personally thank each and every one of the businesses for your participation in this competition. Whether your name is called for an award today or not, you have all gained invaluable experience and taken important steps forward in your business journey. I have witnessed the remarkable dedication and effort you poured into refining your business plans, working closely with your advisors, and embracing every bit of feedback along the way. Your commitment to growth is truly inspiring, and I hope that you feel this journey has not only been worthwhile, but has strengthened your skills, your confidence, and your vision for the future. Your perseverance and passion embody the spirit of entrepreneurship, and I am genuinely excited to see the impact you will continue to make in our community as you continue to push forward beyond today. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Nora to announce the winners.
Don't leave yet. Okay, so right quick, that was a surprise. But I do have an award for SBDC. In recognition and appreciation of the 12 years of ongoing commitment and dedication to the business plan competition, our partnership and working with Ms. Desiree and the rest of the staff, I thank y'all very, very much. Because of your partnership, this is a success as well. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. So as I announced, if you will come up to the front, and then we will take a picture. And if you're not too nervous, if we want to let them say a little bit as to what you are proposing to do with the winning funds, okay? And we're going to start from third, second, and then first, okay? So third place goes to... Okay, third place goes to Mad Messy.
Good morning. My name is James. I'm the owner of Mad Messy. This is my wonderful team. My son Andrew, our manager, Emily Brown, who runs our Sunset Mall location, and Mabel Minica, who's our general manager, who oversees both our locations. Thank you very much for this award. It was a lot of time and effort and work to put this together. Thank you so much to all of you that helped us out and worked with us. Where's Miss Kate? I kind of drove her crazy, I think. Thank you so much for helping. We appreciate this so much. What was the third place amount? I didn't even see. For us, that's going to be really beneficial for us on new equipment that we need to help cut a lot of our labor time in putting pieces of equipment in place. It's going to help our employees work faster. It's going to cut so much time for us. It's going to allow us to upgrade a lot of things for our company. And we just really, really appreciate that so much. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's get ready for second place. All right, our second place winner is Rooted Wellness Clinic.
I also don't know how much I won. I'm Melissa Jones, the owner of Rooted Wellness, and I've had a wonderful time spending with Elizabeth and Lucas over the last several months. With this grant money, I plan on purchasing a hyperbaric chamber for the community, which will help benefit everyone's health. I have small business actually helped me start the practice at the very beginning 2 years ago. So I'm excited for the growth of Rooted Wellness in the community and see where this leads me. Thank you.
Okay, and that's it. No, not really. Okay, and first place goes to Barron's Body Shop.
My name is Richard Barone. I want to thank the board again. Thank you all. Congratulations to everybody in the competition. It was great. It was a great learning experience for us as a small business. This Small Business Development Corporation, I had no clue that there was so many resources out there for a small business, and I'm gonna try my best to promote it as much as I can because it's such a benefit. It was a great benefit to us, and it can be of great benefit to lots of small businesses out there. But what we're going to use the money for is to help the bottleneck in our industry and our business, building a new paint shop, getting more cars in, getting more cars out in a more efficient manner. As you all know, the deer are jumping right now, so we need more space. We need to be able to get them in and get them out. So that's what we intend to do, is buy a new state-of-the-art paint booth. I've been in the industry, about 30 years. So as far as I know, we'll be the only ones in town with this new booth that we're looking to purchase and be able to, to service the community a little better, give them more services. So we thank you all. And thank y'all for being here.
Perfect. So in closing, I just want to say again, thank you to the Development Corporation Board. Without y'all's time and effort to serve on this board, represent our community, and have a passion for economic growth, we wouldn't be here today, and all of our businesses wouldn't have gained the additional support that they needed to take their business to the next level. So if I could have the board join me, I have a plaque of appreciation. You two gentlemen. Bob. Dang, come on.
Well, you're telling us to hurry now.
No, Bob and Dan. Bob and Dan. I'm trying to get these yahoos up here with you. Will y'all join us?
Never hand me a microphone. I do want to tell you that I am encouraged by the buzz that is in this room. Those of you who won, obviously, you're going to move forward with some great ideas and some great projects. Those of you who did not win are going to go forward with some great projects and great business that will provide places of employment for our community, and we appreciate you all for the effort that you put into this. Thank you.
As we wrap up today's ceremony, we want to celebrate not only the winners, but every entrepreneur who participated. Your passion, dedication, and innovative spirit have been truly inspiring. Thank you to our partners, judges, advisors, and the entire San Angelo community who came out and supports the local business plan competition and our goal for economic growth. We look forward to seeing how your dreams transform into bold realities. Congratulations to all, and best of luck as you continue your business journey. We will take a short recess with the board to have refreshments and some additional photos out in the lobby, and for everyone to greet and celebrate our winners and talk to those folks who are also in the business plan competition. So thank you for joining us. And I'll hand it back to Rick.
We'll be back in 20 minutes,
20 minutes,
think?
sounds good.
15. Item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during discussion of those items from citizens who have registered for public comment prior to the start of this meeting. Ms. Navarez, do we have anyone registered for public comment?
Yes, sir. Jamal Shumpert, please.
Jamal, come forward, please. State your name and 3 minutes.
I guess you got it.
There you go.
Okay. Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. First off, I'd like to thank Mr. Sneeman and Ms. Navarez for serving so long. I realized when I was looking at videos and paperwork 5 years ago that I've been watching this board for about 5 years. That they've been truly wonderful, helping explain how it works. And that's kind of what I was going to talk about on public comment. I looked at your manufacturing alliance, some of the programs we offer to the school. I think we should support the school more. My son's in 8th grade, and they're trying to pick, I guess, classes for their career, and it's kind of limiting because he kind of wants to work with his hands and do software development. And the endorsements they have doesn't allow him to do both because it's not enough credits. I was just wondering maybe if you could work with the school and talk to them about creating their own online program, the industry-based certifications and industry leaders to build that platform for those kids to be able to get multiple certifications, because he really wants to be a mechatronics engineer, and to be able to do that, he'd have to get all of those different certifications, and San Angelo doesn't offer enough credits with enough periods. So that's why I would like, maybe you guys look into it. Outside of that, I guess I would love for you guys to focus more on quality of life projects, things that'll help citizens out more. And I know it doesn't always bring back money, it doesn't always bring in revenue, but I think it does raise sales tax because people get out and do a lot of things, especially with our parks. Our parks are kind of far behind on maintenance, and when people aren't going to your parks, they aren't going to your stores by your parks, they aren't going to see the events that may be happening. So being able to get people out of those houses and cleaning up things, I think will produce a higher sales tax. Kind of small, but it'll be incrementally and strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Any comment from the board? All right, let's move on to items on the consent agenda. Those will now be considered. Those items include considering approving the regular meeting minutes from October 8th, 2025, as presented by Nora Navarez, and consider approving an electrical service and maintenance agreement by and between the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and MC Electric not to exceed $50,000, and authorizing the board president or designee to execute all necessary documents, also presented by Nora Navarez. Ms. Navarez, do we have anyone registered for public comment?
No, sir.
Do we have any other questions or discussion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion to approve and a second by Mr. Lewis. Will you say yes if you are in favor of approving the consent agenda item?
Yes.
Will you say no? Same sign. Any abstentions? It is done. All right. Now we'll consider our regular agenda. First, consider approving the September 25 financials with the presentation by Tina Diersky. There you are.
I'm here. Good morning, Board. Tina Diersky, Director of Finance and Corporate Treasurer. I have for you your year-end unaudited financial statements to present We ended the year over our final budget for revenue by about $840,000. Great news, however, we did end the year with a down month for sales tax. In September, we had a decrease of 2.9%, but recovered in October and November with increases of 2.7 and 3.7% respectively. For the year, sales tax was up by 1.5% overall. On your balance sheet for economic development, we have about $12 million between cash, money market, and investments. I also want to point out that our unassigned fund balance is almost $7.9 million, which is up slightly from last year at this time. And there's about $3.9 million set aside for projects. On your income statement, you'll see where sales tax for the year was 7% over budget. Interest also performed very well this year at $425,000. We are looking at a new investment advisor for the city, as well as the Development Corporation. We went out for RFP for that. We've reviewed, we have narrowed it down to 3. Mr. Mahaffey was at our Investment Oversight Committee meeting where we reviewed some of those proposals. We expect to do that very quickly, and once we do that, we'll look at some different strategies for investing that money that we have in the money market account right now. We also had some costs go out for administrative expenses as well as the city services agreement, and we had that return of almost $20,000 from the splash pads project. For the ballot side, we've got about $15.5 million in unassigned fund balance, the $15.7 million in investments in money market accounts. And with that excess sales tax, we're beginning to see that unassigned fund balance build up on this side. Sales tax on the ballot side, again, was in excess of budget by over $600,000. We had a total interest income of about $600,000 as well. Also on this side, paid city services contract as well as some affordable housing, that unprogrammed income that we designated for the flood response. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Do we have any questions? Advice for Tina, because I'm sure she could use it.
I could, yes, please. Go for it.
All right, if you would, do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financials.
Motion to approve. Second.
The whole table is firsting and seconding. So we have a motion and a second. If you will approve the financials, you say aye. Aye. If not, same sign. Any abstentions? And it is done. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate your work. Next up is an update and discussion, possible action regarding the project for damage repairs needed as a result of the July 4th, 2025 flooding to businesses located in the designated flooding area. Desiree Johnson will come. And I don't see him in the room, but Mike Looney is also on the agenda. Okay.
So, gentlemen and lovely folks, I will admit I was a little preoccupied. So, Michael Looney did his homework and put together a summary. So, I'll actually present on behalf of them. He is out doing his best to recruit new companies and do all the things that he does. But he wanted me to share that the Chamber EDD contacted and visited 46 companies within the north to south central flood zone. 11 companies reported moderate to significant damage. All 11 of those companies reporting damage had an invitation to schedule a meeting with the Development Corporation team. One has occurred. The Coast DC EDD met with Miss Wendy Clark of Clark Auto Salvage to review potential DC assistance. Regular calls for updates were conducted by Mr. Looney to all damaged businesses, including site visits to understand damage and recovery. All companies were made aware of the SBA Disaster Assistance Loan Program, Samaritan's Purse, Team Rubicon, and San Angelo Area Foundation Assistance Programs, and provided contact information for outreach. 2 companies that received significant damage are presently engaged with the EDD team discussing the San Angelo Industrial Park, that's Permian Radiator and Tricor Steel. Both enterprises are located next to the central channel and are likely to experience similar damage in the event of another high-volume flood. We are making progress with both companies for a permanent move to the industrial park. Both Permian Radiator and Tricor received SBA emergency loans. The other 9 damaged businesses engaged in self-directed recovery and have not reported any further assistance needs. 5 businesses along the side view road of US 87 corridor appear to be in a consistent flood zone due to topography and limited frontage road flood control. The EDD team is considering approaches to investigate San Angelo Industrial Park options for these enterprises as well. To give you an update, from the SBDC side of the house, we continue to work with folks who are seeking out the grant programs offered through the San Angelo Area Foundation, as well as other general grants, assistance. The economic injury for physical disaster is still available, and those folks can apply through, I believe, tomorrow. Is today the 13th? 12th, so through the 14th, I apologize. So for a couple more days, they can still apply for that physical disaster damage, and then the economic injury disaster loan will be available until about April of next year. So again, to support that long-term recovery efforts, businesses that may not realize the cash flow issues that the renovations and repairs on their own might cause at a later date. So we're here to continue to assist them. The SBA Disaster Office is still housed upstairs in the Business Resource Center. Thank you again for extending that lease. They'll be with us through November 21st as of right now. As long as there's still activity and need, they will continue to serve, have a temporary office in the building. I think that concludes our report.
Questions from the table. I'll begin. Are these numbers sound familiar? Are we receiving any new reports or new asks for assistance?
So part of it is due to confidentiality. We can only report what we know. So on the SBDC side, we have to make contact again with those clients and say, hey, have you followed up? Did you receive the loan? So even though we're funded through the Small Business Administration, we're considered a resource partner, so we don't have direct access to that information. Our outreach calls and our assistance numbers continue to grow. So I can provide a report of just client hours and things like that. I think probably on the EDD side, outreach has probably slowed way down. And that's just because they're hitting specific folks that are eligible under the COSA DC program. So that's a finite number of people. They're reaching out, they're doing the continued follow-up. As Mr. Looney mentioned in his report, the 5 businesses that are still, those are gonna be long-term recovery efforts. So you're probably not gonna see milestones from that impact until we get a lot further down the road, because they're looking at potentially moving their businesses or things like that.
Any other questions? All right, Desiree, thank you. Do you need any action from us today?
I don't think so. Thank you for your continued support, and the team at the office will continue to work with those clients and the mics to work out any projects and deals that continue to come up, and then we'll continue to serve on the loan side.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
No public comment on this topic, so we'll move to item C, discussion and update regarding Goodfellow Air Force Base, presentation by Steve Elanius, President and CEO, San Angelo Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Steve.
Well, Michael's passing out the document I wanted to share with you. I want to congratulate what you guys have done for the small business plan competition. That is a great way to impact small businesses in this community, and they are a key driver to job growth for any community. And so that type of support plays a huge benefit for everyone. So I wanted to commend you and also the SBDC and their efforts and everything that they're doing to make that happen. As you know, Goodfellow is a key economic driver for our community. It has approximately $3.1 billion in economic impact in San Angelo. It is by far the biggest impact that we have in the community. They employ over 6,222 people directly and another 6,000 indirectly. So to say that Goodfellow is a key to our economy is an understatement. And so for us at the Chamber, the challenge has been how do we go about engaging with Goodfellow and making sure that our presence is being felt, and we're doing those things in order to position our community. And in the past, it's been the effort as far as what I've seen in terms it has not been as strong as I think as it could be, and so I've had an opportunity to talk with other communities that have similar Air Force Base operations and kind of what do they do. So the community to the north of us, Abilene, their Development Corp funds over $400,000 to the efforts to keep Dyess Air Force Base in their operations. So there's 5 key things that we want to accomplish. First one is to strengthen engagement and communication in Washington, D.C. and Austin. Obviously, we want to be in front of the decision makers or be a part of the conversation as things start to unfold. And as you're well aware of, things are happening so fast now that there are opportunities bubbling up that we would not have anticipated even 7 months ago. So wanting to be able to engage in Washington, D.C. and in Austin, Texas. Second is one of the key things as they bring in new instructors to the base, we want to be able to do in conjunction with Colonel Norton, a community orientation program, which would impact about 20 to 30 of those instructors every month. Get them acquainted with San Angelo, also give them a chance to start seeing the things that we want to present as far as what the strengths that San Angelo brings to the table. Plus, many times these folks will cycle back through this community a second time in their tours, and then eventually may be a retirement opportunity for the community. The third one is obviously community engagement. We want to make sure that we're engaging with the command structure at Goodfellow, that we're talking with them and that we're having those interactions at a high level with key leadership from the community and the base. And again, being in front of and having conversations around. Number 4, a Goodfellow appreciation event that we'd like to do in the spring for the entire base and the families. Something that would be a very measurable impact. We're talking about doing a barbecue event at the Civic Center, a way to show our appreciation for the airmen, the families, and the command structure. Music, cornhole tournament, just something that would be overall just a good event for the show appreciation. And then finally, involvement with the National Association of Defense Communities. That's something we've not been involved with in the past, and so we want to get re-engaged with that association, just again to see how other communities are doing things. So things, as I mentioned earlier, things are moving quickly. So you're seeing with cybersecurity, you're seeing with advanced air mobility, which is drones, you're seeing with artificial intelligence, and you're seeing with energy, and also de-investment from China happening at a rapid pace. The state of Texas is trying to position itself to take advantage of those things that are happening on a national and international scale. And so the funding request that we'd like to make to the Development Corp is for a little bit less than $75,000 to stand up some of these efforts. And with that, I would like to have Mike Boyd come up and kind of share some insight that he has from the state level and from the national level.
While Mike is coming forward, Mike, while he is coming forward, I'd like to pull this topic after Mike's discussion into executive session, because I've got some questions for our attorneys as to whether this funding can happen or not. For clarity, I met with Steve over breakfast, which almost turned into lunch, discussing some of the ways that we can support Goodfellow Air Force Base. As you know, that's one of my hot topics, and I don't see a problem with any of these topics, but I just want to make sure that we're on the right page legally. Mike, go ahead.
Good morning, welcome. I'm Mike Boyd, for those that don't know me. So anyway, I want to give you some basic facts and things that are going on about Goodfellow that's probably not in the news. I was going to come to you today and talk to you about what are we going to do with our airmen, men and women, and the rest of the military for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Still a question mark. Flight issues. We've got about 3,100 active students, not support staff, but the students that come in from San Antonio from basic training, and we're trying to figure out what to do with them for Christmas Day. A lot of times in the past, maybe some of y'all have taken anywhere from 2 to 10 airmen in your homes and for Christmas. We're trying to get numbers now. Thank goodness for the resolution that was passed till January 30th. But we may have to have a huge event, I'm just putting this in your mind, at the Coliseum on Christmas Day. Put up big screen TVs, much what we do on Feast of Sharon in November. But that's probably the biggest thing that Goodfellow faces in the next 60-day window, is we don't want those kids staying in the dorms when the active part, all the contract people are gone. So maybe back to you and talk to you about that. The second thing that's going on, as you know, we've received several grants from the state of Texas over the years, about $15 million. The new one is Colonel Nemo, Colonel Norton. We need to fix the parade field at Goodfellow Air Force Base. The fire ants, the cotton burrs, they're all meeting, if you don't know, and he told me to invite y'all. At 5:30 every morning, 5 days a week, they do PT out on that drill field. I'm joking. But we think we can get some AstroTurf there. The project's going to be about $3 million. We had federal funding agreements before all this happened in the last 60 days to give us $1.5 million. That's the second grant we've gotten since I've been involved with Goodfellow in nearly 20 years from the federal government. That'll be presented and approved, hopefully, at the Texas Military Preparedness Commission meeting in April of 26. That was pushed about 5 months because of that. The next thing is we're going for our 4th Altras this year award. As you know, we've received 3. Nobody else has in the state and around the nation really has received only 1. Nobody has received 2. But we're pushing for a 4th one for this year. The good thing about everything changes when you get a new commander, okay? And we hope to get, and it's been getting better and better. But Colonel Norton wants to include ASU or OTC involved in a lot of what they're doing. Also, the junior high and the high school are OTCs. That's another reason we need that drill field improved. Actually, if you put a synthetic turf out there, it lowers the temperature and the way it works for people. But everybody's out there 5 days a week, all the different branches, the first sergeants, the commanders, doing their PT. So that's part of the new directive under the new Secretary of War, is that something you've got to do, get everybody back in shape, make sure that your men and women are qualified to serve. The county's been good to help us in the past. The city has too a few times, but currently the county's got $200,000 set aside to give us to any of those grants to help us. The big deal on the TMPC grants is that you have to have a 50% max to get the maximum points. We're competing with San Antonio, Fort Hood, El Paso. I looked at the numbers the other day, and normally we have 8 or 9 grant requests. Now we've gotten every 14. We've been given $40 million biennium from the governor. That was up by $10 million this year. Our grant requests exceed that $40 million. So main thing we're growth, there's 2 things on growth that I think we've really got a chance at. One is, Steve alluded to UTVs, unmanned aerial. We've asked for that and asked for that. We've got some connections in D.C. now. I don't know if y'all remember Lieutenant General Downs, that used to be a commander here. He has a little say-so on what goes on future missions. Colonel McGinnis, that was here before Norton, is now in charge of Intel as the Chief of Staff for the Chief of the Air Force. So we're pushing UTVs because of what we have out at the airport already. I visited with Tom about that. I know there's been some approval from the city, excuse me, to build some additional buildings out there, and we could use those maybe. Somebody's talking to me on my phone, excuse me. But I think we can combine those buildings and increase our UTV. That's something that we're pushing pretty hard on that. Space Force, that's the big deal for Goodfellow right now. Our first class had 6 people in it. We're about 120 to 130 right now. That's where the emphasis is. That's where we're going. Everything is called not near space, but mid space. That's the fight we're having with China. 100% of the participation that they're learning, whether it's from targeteering or missile types or things like that, is all in mid space right now. So that's where we're focused. I kind of want to see if y'all have any questions I could answer for you about anything. But I would come back for you on these future grants and ask for some participation, if that's possible, from a recommendation from COCDC to the city. That's the one thing that we fight is we talked about Abilene. Abilene needed a new south gate like we're getting right now. We phased that south gate. It's about $23 million project into 3 phases so we can get some federal dollars. Abilene went out and raised $1.3 million in cash from the community and built that new gate. They asked us for 50%, and obviously the commission gave it to them. So that's something in the future I think we've got to look at, to be quite honest, is to have some more dollars in the game in order for us to continue to get grants. Going to DC twice a year, we haven't been in 5 years. Some of us have gone individually. That's a 2-point deal. You meet at the Pentagon, and then you meet with Cornyn, Cruz, and whoever, and tell them what's going on. It's been our history that we never ask for anything. We take a bullet paper and we tell them what we've accomplished, and then that opens a door for them to say, what do y'all need? Make big things dorms. We've been waiting on a dorm for 12 years. That's finally been granted to start in 2028. It'll be a 3-year project. We've still got a dorm that's down at Goodfellow Air Force Base due to mold. So, any questions you might have?
3,100 students, where are you putting them?
They're in dorms. We had them 3 bunked when COVID hit. They were restricted to their billets. That's changed. We moved back when the city, we got housing here, how long ago? 5, 6 years ago, the main housing when COVID hit. The ones that are on the loop, we got what's called BAH rates. We had some ties there with the people that out of Georgetown. And so we could move a bunch of them there and they didn't have to pay extra for rent or for utilities. At Oak Christoval Road and Goodfellow, you've seen that little units right across from Stripes. Those were BAH rates also. We built about 1,200 houses at that time. We were able to, through that, be able to do that, get some people there. So we're okay on, we've made the adjustments on housing right now. Now, in the last 2 years, our numbers have been down. It's political. People just didn't join the military. That has structurally changed 180 degrees, contrary to what everybody thinks. So the numbers are coming in really strong. We'll be able to handle it for probably the next 2 years till we get that dorm online. That's not getting rid of a dorm, that's adding the new one that we needed for the last 10 or 12 years.
Well, I understand we only used about half of the acreage that was allotted for that project. And so we've got another, we could duplicate that. And my concern is that we house these people and take some of the weight off the retail market to be able to do a couple of different things.
Yeah, we brought in temporary housing on the back of Goodfellow. There's 158 acres or something like that that's unused. If y'all remember, that's when the migrant situation came up, that's where they were gonna put a bunch of them. We avoided that twice. That land's still available. It's on back of the old runway, if you will, where the fire station and the fire academy is. We can use that for anything. We've asked and told them in the proper way, all the way up to DC, that we've got that land for development for something that's beneficial to mission for Goodfellow. So far, we don't have anything. The temporary housing was supposed to be there for 5 years, not going away. They've not even talked about it. It's full.
Okay. Any other questions for Mike before we move along? Steve, do you have anything else?
No, sir, I appreciate it. You know, we'll be a good use of the money. We need to have more community events. The 2 things that are really important is child development centers, well, 3. Child development centers, quality of education. which we're handling through SAISD, and then taking care of family. Big thing on base right now, we can't get drugs through the pharmacy. The medical facility's completely full, and so we're looking at trying to expand that, but the drugs that they normally get at no cost to them, just because of what's happened in the last 5 or 6 months, they have to go out in the open market. So we have to help them on a one-to-one basis. We have a deal at Goodfellas, it's called Warm Hearts, which the chamber's involved in, one of the churches are involved in, our veterans group is involved in, where we give them money for students that cannot handle what's going on in their life. Now, they get housing, obviously, and they can eat the dining hall. But the story I use is we had a young kid that had leukemia. Dad was deceased. His mother lived in California. He needed to go home to see his mother. So Warm Hearts paid for the airplane ticket both ways, paid for his expenses, came back to Goodfellow, re-enrolled, and 11 days later he passed away. You'll be amazed at how many of those things happen on a daily basis. The E1s through E4s, the young kids that make $24,800 base salary, right now they can't afford the meat. They can't afford the gas. So we're looking at doing things, it's crazy. Baby formula, diapers, but that's been handled so far. What the community did with the $80,000 when they came together a couple of weeks ago, that's what that money's being used for. It's not for any type of dinners or anything like that. It's strictly for basic needs for the E1 through E4 airmen.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Steve, do you have anything else for us?
No, Mr. Chairman, as obviously Mike is chairing our Military Affairs Committee, brings a great amount of expertise and experience, and we just think it is an effort that needs to be a lot of focus, and a lot of things need to happen. There's great opportunities with a lot of things happening in the environment right now, so we want to be able to take advantage of it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we can't fund the federal government to reopen, but maybe we can do something here.
I just wanted to add one comment. I'm Scott Tankersley. I do a lot of stuff out at the base. I'm on Air Education Training Command. And one of the things that, Mike alluded to is the fact that we've got Lieutenant General Mike Downs at the Pentagon in a very, he's a San Angelo fan. And it's always interesting to see the things that happen when we go to DC that he makes happen. And with right now, Nemo, the new base commander, Matt Norton, he is a Downs prodigy. He wants to be just like Downs, and they love San Angelo. And so anything we do to get in front of those guys, especially in DC, it's going to just pay dividends for us down the line, especially if we've got Downs and Norton both on our team. So I just wanted to add that. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Do we have any public comment regarding that topic? All right. We will move
Rick?
More discussion into exec. Yes.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. All right. More discussion will be moved into executive closed session. As we move to topic D, update and discussion regarding the Economic Development Director position, job description and search process, presentation by Michael Dane, Interim Director of Economic Development. Mike?
Good morning. A couple of items. First of all, I think we put this item on because we're due for an update. Also, I think one of our absent board members, Mr. Stribling, asked for the job description. We sent the job description out a few weeks back via email. I think Nora's handing that out now. If you'd like to talk about that now, we can. If you'd just like an update, I'll give you a quick update. We've had I think 12 or 15 applications. We've started going through those. I separated into 3 tiers, primary candidates, secondary candidates, and wait and see candidates. I went through that with Mr. Mahaffey, and he selected, he also gave me a couple of tiers with a primary candidate and a couple of secondaries. I anticipate spending time with Mr. Mantooth to go through a similar exercise, and I've provided that information to Daniel also. So far, what I provided to Daniel is consistent with what Mr. Mahaffey provided. I anticipate it'll be similar with Mr. Mantooth, and then we'll move ahead with interviews. I anticipate at least one board member will participate. Daniel will make that decision, and hope to have a decision made. My hope is that we have a decision made before the December meeting. And
That means a decision on who we want to offer and an acceptance by that person is what you want by December?
obviously, when you're in this position, you want them to show up. You want them to start before then. So as much progress as we can make if we decide we have the right candidate. If not, we'll keep going through the process until we turn up the candidate we want.
Gentlemen, do we have any other comment regarding this issue? I understand we've got public comment on this topic.
Yes, sir, we do.
Jamal, would you come forward, please? Limit your time to 3 minutes.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. Board, I'd like to give you guys a little history on this search for our Economic Development Director. About 2022, we paid a firm to search for candidates. We only turned up 3. And then that just fizzled out. We hired none of them. Since then, we've been without Economic Development Director, and this search happened within a month, and it happened much quicker. You got 4 times as many candidates. I'm not as comfortable with this search. I don't know any of the names on there, but I'm not as comfortable with this search because of how quick the process happened. This isn't I guess I would even consider this board and this job more important than city councils, because city council will falter if the city isn't developing well. And I really do think the person you need to hire needs to have an extensive background in planning. That is because you don't have to go to the planning department to ask, hey, what size pipe do I need for here? Or will I need pipes here? Or is this a good area? What zone will I need for that? Those are the questions that should be asked to the candidates. And for the candidates, they should be asking you questions about your bones. They should have went and found all the bones just like I did and ask you those questions about how do we fix this? They should have concerns as well. I could not understand how you could want to rush into this job, but then I said, more than likely, it's a 6-figure job. So many people are in 6-figure jobs that I guess were not necessarily handed to it. They have the qualifications on paper, but when you actually hire them, you get not necessarily a dub, but it's mediocre, and you was looking for something much better. This is a very important job. If I had to choose someone within the city who would be your best candidate, and I don't know if his name is in there, and it should be, his name is Aaron Vanoy. He knows where all the things are in your city. He knows what's best to develop where, who will complain if you get this factory over here or this business over there. That is why you will probably want him as an economic developer. But anyway, I would like y'all to consider some of the things I would want you guys to ask them about their knowledge in planning and development. Outside of that, I guess good luck, because that'll be the person that's coming up here, and I'll be talking whether they do good or bad. I'll be commenting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Next is, and there is no action required for that topic. Next up, E, discussion regarding future construction and infrastructure to connect Knickerbocker Road, Twin Mountain, and Mertzen Highway. The presentation by Shane Kelton, Executive Director of Public Works. It is, before we move to public comment on this, I would like to request that we move this topic to next month. The board member who requested this topic be assigned to a future agenda item is not with us today, and I would like for him to be here when we discuss that. So if it is the board's pleasure, I'd like to table this item.
Yes, let's get action if you would, please. Motion and a second and a vote.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. And now let's go ahead and get Jamal's public comment.
I'll try to make this one pretty brief because y'all have it on there next month. I understand what we're trying to do. I don't know if it's a road and the pipes. I'm okay with the road. The city is supposed to build roads. But when it comes to the pipes and the developers had the land so long, you actually are not helping economic development, you're stalling it. Especially when we incentivize them through some of our programs we have, the effects have been detrimental. We no longer build homes, new construction homes, and we've basically ushered out that service to Galilee Development Corporations. That's because all the land has been sold off in San At one point, me and Mr. Salas were going back and forth I was trying to figure out why is it so expensive, but it was because some of this land we sold off $750 in 2010, 2005, 2014, up to $5,000. And then they're turning around selling it back to us and our customers in that affordable housing program for $15,000 per lot. That's why we had to increase it to $15,000. It's a slew of problems where we're giving out too much land to these people over time, and they've done nothing with it. That is why the prices of homes are high, because they have all the land, they get to build the homes. But yeah, that was my concern. You'll build them a road, and then you'll build them pipes, and now they're gonna overcharge the citizens with the expectation that you're gonna move people out of, I guess, a $275,000 home to a $350,000 or $400,000 home, and expect that your citizens can make it up to a $250,000 or $230,000 home when we can only afford $175,000. That's based off of what the affordable housing study said. So that's my concern, that I don't think that upper level tier will work because our wages aren't there yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. So we have a motion and a second to table this item to the next meeting. If you will agree, will you say aye?
Aye.
If not, will you say nay? Are there any abstentions? And it is done. All right. Thank you, Jamal, for your participation today. Next up then is discussion regarding appointment to the Economic Development Housing Task Force Committee. Michael Dane.
Good morning. We talked about the possibility of creating a task force or a subcommittee oriented around finding and developing solutions for affordable housing in the area. Travis was a big part of this discussion also. We're not the only ones talking about affordable housing. And so by way of, we want to introduce the topic and let you have that conversation however you prefer. But I think our planning director, Aaron Vanoy, has got a similar task that he's working on. I think he also has a group that's working on that. And he's here today if you'd like to hear what he's working on. I talked to the mayor. I said, how do you have a preference for how this goes? And he said, I'd definitely like to hear COSA-DC's opinion. So that was a direct invitation for you to provide feedback and guidance from an economic development perspective in the process. He said how they do it is up to them, but I'd like to know what they think. So we can proceed however you'd like. If you want to name a couple of names and be done, we can. If you'd like to talk about it or hear from Aaron, we can do that.
I'd like to hear just a brief comment by Aaron. We appreciate you coming today.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Board. Aaron Vanoy, Director of Planning and Development Services. So in our department, most of us think of as the enforcement area, but we do look at those enforcement rules, our zoning ordinance, our land development and subdivision ordinance, are things that cost money, and how do we reduce those requirements to help with affordability in some way. As you guys all know, infrastructure is the biggest cost for any developer. So roads, water, sewer, how do you get those things in? Because that cost per lot. So what we're doing on the land development and subdivision ordinance is we're trying to standardize what is our minimum road size for an existing road, say in an infill area. Right now it says it's got to be 26 feet. We have a number of roads that are less than that. And so to add 5-6 feet of paving to that road can be very costly, and that adds to each lot an additional cost. So we're talking with our homeowners association in town. We have actually, and Mr. Stribling is on that committee as well. We also have some local engineers that are on that committee, as well as representatives from our operations and engineering services within the city to talk about what are ways that we can reduce costs in our land development and subdivision ordinance. On our zoning side, we realize that our RS districts, our residential zoning districts, are a little restrictive in saying if you wanted to do a 3,000 square foot lot, which is a smaller lot, increases density, our zoning ordinance doesn't really allow that right now. How do we make that more flexible, particularly for our infill areas of town that may be established, but maybe they've got, you know, a full acre lot and they're not able to cut it up in a certain way and it triggers a lot of infrastructure. How do we do that differently? So we have another committee that's looking at that and trying to create new residential districts that developers would be able to apply for. It would not change any of our current zoning districts out there. It would just be something someone would be able to apply for. And I think the consideration is where would they be able to do that? Is it all over town? Is it in certain areas? That still needs to be discussed and go through. But the more density we have, the more properties along a street frontage, the more water taps we have and sewer taps we have there, the more affordable it is, for the city as well as the property owners or the residents of those properties, because you're combining more density. Now, not all of our neighborhoods want that high density, so we understand that. So we're talking through those items. So y'all are welcome to understand we do those meetings once a month. We're trying to bring something forward by March. The state has very specific zoning rules that we have to do for notifications and do a joint meeting with our city council and our planning commission. So we're planning that in either March or early April so we can get some things. These are really some Band-Aid steps. Our biggest step is our comprehensive plan that's going to get started here very soon. And then really the next step is, all right, we need a combined land development and subdivision ordinance with our zoning ordinance together. That all works together towards affordability. But we do have a great couple of committees that are working towards that. We always want the public's input. We definitely need y'all's input. I do believe our infill funding areas are areas that are going to have to be targeted because we're already providing services as cities. And so that cost per lot is probably going to be lower, but we know we have some infrastructure missing. So is it doing some infill with infrastructure because we've got lots ready to build, but they don't have water line. They might have a sewer line. They don't have a street. We have a number of streets that may not be paved. Now, that's not something that the city typically does. We are a maintenance group, not a let's go build these types of things. So those are bigger discussions to consider of how do we get those things to fill in, make those connections. I know our Tiers Board is also looking at that in the Tiers District of how do we infill some of those utility connections and hydrants so it makes it a cheaper cost for the lot owner. And those things are all up to consideration. So, Chairman, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Fenoy. We appreciate your time this morning. Gentlemen, if I don't hear from you, you'll probably hear from me. I think we need to cap our involvement at 3 so that we don't have quorum issues. And Mr. Stribling is already on one of those committees, so I would invite 2 more of you if you want to participate in that to volunteer.
I'd love to be involved in that.
All right,
And-
Mr.
and-
Mahaffey. Thank you, Lorenzo. Anybody else? Well, that's it. That's the cap.
And Aaron, before you move on, Aaron, do you have home builders on this?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We actually have 3 home builders that are on there that not just strictly build homes, but also develop land as well. So they actually see it from both sides. So I think that's very important.
Thank you.
Aaron, I assume you've seen that report from Michael Pratt presented to us last time. I assume it's the same report. You guys all have access to it.
I have not seen it quite yet, but I know that it'll be getting to me soon.
Okay. It's very good. I mean, there's stuff in there that seems like an absolute no-brainer and easy to do to fix something like that. The lot size issue seems like an easy fix.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are simple things that we can move forward, that we can do some Band-Aids, and then it's really that long-term comprehensive look of where are we growing, how are we growing? But yes, we need to make some Band-Aids now to help us now.
All right, well, we've accomplished what I wanted to, and that's to get a voice in those proceedings. I appreciate your time this morning. So Directors Lassiter, Mahaffey, and Stribling will be our representatives as we move forward on the Housing Task Force.
One other item is we've considered this from the perspective of regulation. The other is consider it from the perspective of specific project participation. For example, we purchased the land that allowed the additional development of off-base housing. And so we had that was a specific project that we participated in. I would anticipate that participation in some fashion with the Chamber Goodfellow support effort might yield information or an opportunity to support in some fashion the improvement or additional development of housing associated with Goodfellow. And so keep both perspectives in mind. We want to make it easy to develop, but we may have places where we need a little boost to make a project go.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. Next up is discussion regarding public development planning, presentation by Michael Dane. Don't go far.
We had this item on just so you would know what was going on at the city. Rick's here to give us some additional update, but I'd like to point out that we heard a lot from Mr. Boyd today that we hadn't heard in a while. And so think about how you want this type of agenda item to occur. Maybe we don't need anything specific except an opportunity for people to tell us what's going on and for us to be aware of those projects. But think about that, and I think Rick's got a couple of updates for you.
While you're coming forward, Rick, I also want us to concentrate on becoming a listening port for our community. And so I would love to hear that as well as we make reports through our meetings.
Okay. Really just two that I would update y'all on. That one we've talked about before, but I just want to keep you in the loop. That is, last time we talked about the conference center hotel concept in the downtown area and evaluating our current convention center as well to see what is the best path forward for San Angelo from an economic standpoint and what the community actually can support in regard to those kind of facilities. So that's moving forward. We're actually going to be interviewing 2 consultant groups, I think this week, Carl? Yeah, tomorrow. So 2 of those, and we'll be looking at that to see which one we're recommending to do that study for us. Secondly, this is just another project that I just want to mention to y'all that we're working on, just so you'll know what's going on. The riverbank stabilization in San Angelo has been a topic since I started working for the city, which was a long time ago. And I think Gene Ryan was the one who pushed it on the front end years ago. So you saw it all happen downtown, all of that kind of stuff. But it needs to be done from where we stopped, which is just east of downtown, all the way to Bell. And in working toward that, Carl and I and some others have been trying to push to get the planning done for that project so that we can have shovel-ready projects. So we've been watching for grants and so forth. We have moved forward with the plans for the bank stabilization that needs to be done. And I think we're about 90% complete on those at this point. Hoping to finish that up in the next few months and then continuing to look for options for that. But from a quality life and economic standpoint for San Angelo, that river's critical. And as you may go walk it, you'll see those banks are continuing to slough off, and it's endangering roadways and walkways and all those kind of things. So we're just trying to get the pre-work done so that we're ready. Even if we have to take it in chunks, that's okay, but that's one project we got to complete. So that's one that's coming up I want to fill you in on. But any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Rick. My understanding is we have no one else registered for public comment through the remainder of the meeting. All right, so we will move forward now.
Could we ask Mr. Boyd to follow up on some of what he talked about earlier in the way of projects that are being contemplated around the city?
So let me give you an update on the additional 96 duplex housing that we have that the city gave the land some 12 or 15 years ago. As you know, there's a contract with Hunt Housing for that property. We fought with them for like 4 or 5 years to go ahead and break ground and build another 96 units. The Air Force up to AETC, to our next level, has given Hunt 6 months to respond whether they're going to keep that property and build on it, which they have no responsibility to do that, or return it back to us so we can do it for privatized housing. It would be the project would be the same exact 96 units that we built before, which are 3 and 4 bedrooms, which is what's really needed. So hopefully we'll know something within that 6-month time frame. They don't have to meet that deadline, but we've flown it all the way up the flag to DC to say, you need to do it. The reason they don't do it or they don't improve and destroy the old 41 housing on base is that San Angelo Goodfellow Air Force Base is a cash cow for the Air Force. They take 100% of our money. They don't maintain them up to standards, square footage and or just livability, if you will. But hopefully we'll know something, and then we can put that out with y'all's help for privatized housings to build another 96 units. Okay? Thanks.
Anything else on that topic? All right, let's move forward then. Discussion and possible action regarding a resolution authorizing the board president to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of San Angelo in an amount not to exceed $255,000 for funding of the Northeast Sector Plan, the master plan. Project authorized under chapters 501 and 505 of the Texas Development Corporation Act, necessary to promote economic development and expand business enterprises which create or retain primary jobs, and recommending approval by City Council. Presentation by Michael Dane.
Thank you. We talked last time about the possibility of the Development Corporation participating in some way in what we're kind of calling the Northeast Sector Master Plan. It was well received, and the board directed us to bring it back for consideration of funding. And the structure that we have established with significant help from legal is that the city will contract for the work. We will fund through an MOU with the city the cost of that contract. And so that's the basic structure. What's proposed in front of you is funding for that, what we discussed last week, plus we had a discussion about when do we begin to talk about development standards, greenery in what could be an otherwise very industrial kind of looking area. And that really can happen at any stage. Creating development standards where you require a little bit of green space, some trees, that kind of thing, can happen in many or a couple of the early stages. And Rick said, do you think the board wants to hear about that or see that or talk about that now? And I said, it can't hurt to throw it in there. They can approve at whatever level they want. So go ahead.
Just to go further from the word greenery, it's design guidelines is what we call them. Anyway, so
He's
yeah.
close to retirement.
Yeah.
What color trees did you anticipate?
Shrubbery. Anyway, some design guidelines for, as we implement these things, not only internally, and you've seen that they've done that in the industrial park as well, but those corridors coming into San Angelo, all of those things, it's very important to look at setbacks, all those type of things, and now's the time to do that before you start all the development. So setting those design guidelines specifically, my gut feeling is that these design guidelines may be some that the city ends up adopting that carry over into other areas of the city as well, especially as you're coming into the corridors into San Angelo, and we want to improve that look. So,
I've been doing a lot of traveling around West Texas for football broadcasts, and I can tell you that it is vital that we look good as you enter our community. I think that is so important because it says a lot about who we are and how much we care about where we live and that sort of thing. So I am all for taking a look at that and putting into action a plan and not just throwing a bunch of trees out there, Michael.
Greenery.
Greenery, sorry, greenery. So what is the board's pleasure? How do you want to proceed with this?
I'll jump out and make a motion. I think this is very vital. I think this fits with exactly what this board is here for. And so I'm going to jump out and make a motion to approve the not to exceed 255.
Do I hear a second? I've got a second. Now that it's on the table, let's discuss it. Are there any heartburn? Is there any heartburn with what we're talking about here? Anybody have an improvement they'd like to make in the motion? Well, it looks like we're all for, so let me take the vote then. No public comment, right, Nora? No. All right, so if you will approve that funding, will you say aye?
Aye.
And if you will not, will you say nay? If there are any abstention, and there is not, so we are done.
One final note on that topic. Eric Head with Westwood is here. I think some of you met him, but feel free to visit with him. They're the group that has been selected to help us with the project, so we appreciate them showing up today.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here, and yeah, I'll be grabbing you after the meeting, so stick around. All right, so that is done. Let's move to I, and who says there's no I in team? Discussion and possible action regarding resolution authorizing the board president to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of San Angelo in an amount not to exceed $75,000 for partial funding of the Santa Fe Downtown River Parks Plan, project authorized under section 505.152 of the Texas Development Corporation Act for projects related to recreational or community facilities, and recommending approval by city council. Presentation by Carl White.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recuse myself from this item.
Understood, and thank you for that. I will tell you that I was invited on a windshield tour several months ago now by Rick Weiss to tour that entire area from stem to stern. And there are lots of places that can be improved upon and lots of projects that can be done. But I don't think that, as in his words, I don't think we just leave that on the shelf and then come back to it later and say, we talked about that. I think it's time to move along with it. And Carl, you've got a presentation for us.
Well, the good news is I'm not asking for $75,000 today.
All right.
It's $50,000. So we do have an update on this. We had 11 submissions to our request for qualifications. We narrowed it down to 3 in our scoring. We interviewed those 3 firms and have been talking with the selected firm, which is SWA Group out of Houston, and have negotiated that fee to $200,000 even, and have been looking for funding sources for this. We have 2 other funding sources in the total of $150,000, and so our current ask is $50,000 from the Development Corporation. So yes, this is the project to do a master plan for the river corridor, including Civic League Park, Santa Fe Park, Sunken Garden Park, and Santa Fe Park, all the way down to Bartlett Park, and all the way down to the World War II Memorial across from the Convention Center. And we also have a steering committee for this group, and that steering committee is going to be meeting every 2 weeks once this plan gets going. The plan is to have 3 public engagement meetings, but separate from that, the steering committee would be meeting every 2 weeks. And I invite your participation to select someone from the Development Corporation to participate in the steering committee. And so our ask is $50,000. I hope to take this to City Council at the meeting in December so we can award this bid and move forward.
Yeah, I just might add a little bit to what Carl said and what Rick touched on. This plan is really bigger than some of the elements within it. You have elements within it that are art and other things, but it's really about the vision for what San Angelo wants in this area. What does San Angelo want to develop in these areas? One of the areas, of course, has been the golf course in Santa Fe. That's been discussed. But at the end of the day, what does San Angelo want there? Is it a botanical garden? Is it a golf course? What is it? And Rick touched on it as we drove and looked at this corridor. We're going to be taking the information from that group as well, plugging that into this. But this is also a component, Aaron just talked a little bit about the housing and those kind of things, but we're doing an update to the comp plan, which is a major reassessment of San Angelo as a whole. There's a lot of things that go into that comp plan that add to its value. This would be one of those. So that's another component you add to the comprehensive overview plan of there are a comp area and then there's areas within it where we have even more detail. And this study would be one of those examples as well. So.
Thank you, Rick. As we discuss the funding here, I also want us to discuss in an official manner who is going to be a part of that steering committee. I want COCDC to have a seat at that table. I would also request that we go and find community members at large who could be a part of this, because I think we need to hear what the city of San Angelo wants. What does the community want? And so I would request that we have representation from both of those groups.
Yeah, in general, we have, excuse me, the committee kind of represented of the boards and those things involved. Y'all's involvement would be perfect. The real approach in getting all of the community members and stakeholders involved is, our consulting group actually going out and specifically meeting with those groups and then also holding community meetings as a whole. I'm not one for just holding the community meeting because sometimes you miss the special interest groups that really have concern or input. So I think we will be doing that, but yes, we can look at of course, putting y'all on there, but if there's another one that we really need to add, then we can always do that.
All right. We can add up to 3, once again, quorum issues. We can add up to 3 members of this board to that steering committee. And how long do you think you're going to be meeting every 2 weeks?
Yeah, basically, and I'm not sure that this group is going to meet every 2 weeks for that entire time. That's a lot. So I think that's the max that we'd be doing, but we'll meet really as needed as those. But the process will take approximately 8 months.
All right. So I'm looking then for a motion to fund the ask. Do I have anyone at the table who wants to do that?
So I'll make a comment briefly before I do make a motion. We had asked to table this item to be more educated and have a lot of our questions answered, and appreciate the staff's time in doing so. I was educated quite a bit over this topic and understood the true value of the total project as a whole, and I think I was focused on just one facet, one variable in this. So I do fully support this project. I think it's a great project. Was never against the project. Was slightly against the process, but I think it was kind of a teachable moment for all those involved. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve $50,000 towards this plan.
I have a motion by Director Mahaffey. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Director Lassiter. Is there any other discussion? I understand there is no public comment. All right, if you will approve this funding request, will you say aye? Aye. If not, will you say nay? If there are abstentions, please say so now. And it is done. Thank you for your work.
You want to talk about who would participate?
Yes, I want to be honest, I was going to wait and find out after the meeting who wants to jump in there, but if you already...
I'm not sure we need minute action on that. So,
all right.
When you figure it out.
Yeah, it's I feel that it's not something that if we do have 3 participants, it's not something that all 3 of us need to show up every 2 weeks for 8 months. I don't ask you to quit your day jobs, but maybe if we have 3 who have an interest in this, then we can share the responsibility.
Yeah, just let us know and we'll work through that as we get the group going.
Thank you very much. All right. So now we'll move into closed session, executive session under provision of Government Code Title 5, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirement that meetings be open under the following sections. A, Section 551.087, business prospect negotiations regarding Project Surge. Project Cyclone, Project Heavy Metal, a resolution authorizing the board president to negotiate and execute an economic development incentive agreement with Mrs. Rios Corn Products, a project authorized under chapters 501 and 505 of the Texas Development Corporation Act, necessary to promote economic development and expand business enterprises which create or retain primary jobs, and recommending approval by City Council. Section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property regarding the sale of 5.5 plus or minus acres of land at the industrial park to the Board of Regents of the Texas A&M University System, Texas A&M Forest Service. So we are now in executive session at 10:16 a.m.
I'm going to stop you there and make sure just procedurally that we include the Goodfellow section. If you could reference, it's 551.071. That's consultations with attorney. And then maybe reference that agenda item number, and that should keep us clean and tidy.
All right. The agenda item was, I believe, C. Will be included in the executive session with section 551.071. All right, thank you very much for that. What would we do without our attorneys? Let's take a 3-minute break. Nature calls, now's the time, and we will be back in 3 minutes to open closed session. All right, we come out of executive session at 11:08, and we have one item of consideration and possible action, and that is section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property regarding the sale of 5.5 plus or minus acres of land at the industrial park to the Board of Regents of Texas A&M University System. And I'm looking for a motion to provide as written.
Motion to approve.
Have one from Director Lewis and Director Mahaffey. And if you will agree with that consideration, will you say aye? Aye. If you will not, will you say
I'm sorry,
nay?
was an amount said? I think we need to say that to be,
All right, you want that as part of the,
yes,
Okay.
if we have one.
43,000, is that right? 240. 240K, yeah.
will you?
I amend my motion to set the price at
Yeah,
$240,000.
basically, it's proposal is to sell 5.5 acres in this location at the industrial park to Texas A&M Forest Service, and it's the Board of Regents, but it's for their Forest Service office, and it's a sale price of $240,000 total.
All right.
I make a motion, amend my motion that we approve that sale for the price, $240,000 to Texas A&M University Board of Regents for the Forest Service project.
Second. Is that a friendly amendment? All right. If you will approve, will you say aye? Aye. If you will not, will you say nay? Are there any abstentions? And it is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
For bringing that forward. Are there any other items of interest to the economy of San Angelo, the Concho Valley? Quick reminder that all Costa DC meetings are broadcast on Channel 17 Government Access at 8 a.m. on every Wednesday after each meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 10th at 8:30 a.m. Will it be here, Mrs. Navarez? Be at this location. Seeing no other business, we'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. Matt, you didn't speak up, brother.
His turn.
All right. If you will be in agreement with adjourning, will you say bye? Bye. And we are done.